This is our in-depth video on how the multi-function display on the Mach-E's works. Let's take a closer look. When you power up the screen for the first time, the first thing it asks you to do is connect a phone. A lot of the functionality is designed to integrate with a smartphone. Looking at the top, you have these buttons here. The first one in the top left-hand corner is this little icon here. And in there, you can actually set up your profile. When you set up your profile, you can create a name for yourself. You can link your memory seats to your profile using the memory seat button on the driver's door. You can add a photo for your profile, and you can also link one of the key fobs to your profile. Once the profile is created and all these links are set up, every time you climb in the car, as long as you've got the right key fob, the car will detect who's driving the car and it will automatically select all of your settings. Next to that, you've got the time, the temperature, as well as the Wi-Fi settings and the wireless charging icon. Currently, there's a smartphone on the wireless charger, and that's why that icon is displaying. If I remove the smartphone, it goes away. Moving over to this button, this is your camera angle button, and as soon as you activate it, you get a 360-degree view of the car with a standard view out the front. If you want to get a detailed view of the front, you can click this and it gives you a wider angle shot of the front. If you want just the normal view of the front, you can press that button, and if you want to go back to 360, you press that button. This button here or switch also gives you your park sensors. You can activate them or deactivate them. When you're in these park view modes, if you shift the car into reverse, it'll switch the camera into the reverse mode, which then gives you these dynamic lines. As you turn the steering wheel, those lines tell you where you're going to go, and you also get the black dotted line so you can know where your center position is. The next button on the dash is this one, and this button brings you into the main control panels of the car. This is also where you can access your 3 different drive modes. Mustang GT comes with 3 different drive modes: Whisper, Active, and Untame. Whisper is of course the quietest, and in each of these modes you can also select whether you want the one pedal driving to be active or inactive. You can also activate propulsion sounds. Some people find electric cars too quiet, and you can press that button and activate propulsion sounds. You can also activate or deactivate your auto hold function. At any given stage inside these menus, if you want to know what something does or means, you can click the eye icon over there and it will bring up a description of what that function actually does. In Untame mode, you get the extra additional button of Untame Plus. Untame Plus is for track use only and is not intended for public roads. It provides a different driving experience, but one that should only be experienced on a race course under skilled supervision. On the left-hand side here, you've got some more control menus. So these are all the main control menus. You've got the phone, the sound, the driver assist, the vehicle, the general, connectivity, software updates, Ford Assist, and Valet Mode. Running through them briefly. Under controls, you have your drive modes. You can also open the front trunk or the rear tailgate using those 2 buttons just there. Phone list is where you can actually access different phones, and you can add different mobile phones here. You can add quite a few. Driver assist brings up another whole lot of menus, and these are all your driver assist systems that the car comes with, from auto hold to the cruise control. The cruise control can be set to adaptive or normal. If it's in adaptive, you can select whether it does lane centering and predictive speed assist, which will use speed sign recognition to predict what speed you should be doing. You can also set your tolerances there, so you can tell it, right, read a speed sign, say it's 60, but if it says 60, allow me to go to 62, or I want to only go to 59. you'd set it to -1. So those are your tolerance levels on the speed sign recognition system. All the menus can then be collapsed using these arrows, so they're pretty intuitive. Your speed limit assist, you can have a speed warning, an intelligent speed limiter, and again you can set tolerances. Lane keep systems can be set to different modes. They can be just alert and aid, or alert and aid, or you might just want to have them aiding only. You can also select the intensity, so you can go from high, normal, or low intensity of assistance. Pre-collision assist has a distance indicator, automatic emergency braking, and evasive steering assist. All of those can be set or deactivated if you want. Once active, you can also set their alert sensitivity. The rear view delay can be set there. Your blind spot detection can be switched on and off. Your cross traffic alert can be switched on and off. Your reverse brake assist can be switched on and off, as well as driver alert system can be activated or deactivated. Again, at any given stage, if you want more detail about any of these functions, you can hit the eye icon on the right hand side. The next menu down the line is the vehicle menu, and this brings up another whole set of different vehicle options, from vehicle power down timers to rear occupant alerts. You also have your easy entry and exit system, which can be set for seat adjustment. You have the Mach-E function, the onboard modem serial number, your alarm system. You can ask on exit, or you can actually set the motion sensors to be permanently on or off. Your remote startup options, you can activate or deactivate that, and then you can also tell it on remote startup what you want it to do. Do you want the climate control to go to last settings, or do you want it to go to an auto function? Do you want the seat and the steering wheel in the auto function or the off position? And how long do you want it to stay powered up in the remote start option? Up to 15 minutes. The windows also have a global open and global close functionality, which can be activated or deactivated here. And once active or inactive, you can actually power them up or control them using the key fob with the lock and unlock buttons. The wipers can also be set for a courtesy wipe, rain sensing, and reverse wipe. Power lift gate can be set to automatic or manual, and you can also activate or deactivate the hands-free functionality, which allows you to sweep your foot underneath and open and close it. You also have a bunch of different lighting options. You can have glare-free lighting, welcome lighting, adaptive headlight setup for left-hand drive traffic, and headlamp delays can also be set all there. Your locks can also be set to auto lock, mislock chirp, walk away lock, which is one of my favorite functions, can be enabled or disabled. Audio feedback, exterior lamps, and unlock all doors, or selective central locking, where you only unlock the driver's door first. The mirrors can also be set to auto fold on and off. Your door keypad code can be set and reset over here, but you do need the digital factory code to begin with. Your tire mobility kit has a time indicator on it, which allows you to set a reminder for when it needs to be maintained or reset. Your tire pressures can be stored at any given time. Your brake coach can also be activated or deactivated, as well as low battery warning can be set to activate at 30 kilometers, 50 kilometers, or 80 kilometer range. Your EV driving history can be reset just there, and your speedometers can be set in miles per hour if you want, and it will switch over from kilometers to miles, or switch that off and it defaults to kilometers. Moving down the menus on the left hand side, the next one that we have is the general menu. Over here you can set your language, you can set your temperatures, you can even set your measuring units for fuel consumption from kilometers and kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, or kilometers and kilometers per kilometer per kilowatt hour. Your tire pressure units can be set here. You can measure it in PSI, kilopascals, or bars. Your touch screen can be made to beep or not to beep. About your sync system, you've got your software license, a feedback submission menu as well. Display, you can set your display brightness. Your instrument cluster mode, at the moment we set to dark, but you can also set it to light or auto, which will then detect outside conditions and set the instrument cluster to different settings. Your center display mode at the moment is also set to dark. You can flip that over to light or auto. We leave it in dark for the video because it's easier to see. You also get your clock here that you can set and reset. You can put it in 24-hour mode or 12-hour mode. Your auto time update, very useful to keep there. And then you also get on the GT your ambient lighting, your auto ambient lighting screen, and you can actually set up the different colors of your ambient lighting here. You can switch it over to blue or red or green or even pink if you want. The default is orange by the looks of things. And of course your emergency assist that can be switched on and off, but it does require a connected phone in order to operate. Next button down the line is connectivity. Connectivity gives you access to your connected vehicle features. Once your vehicle is connected to the app, you can actually set up different connectivity options here, as well as data sharing if you want to enable that, and vehicle analytics. Wireless app projection. So wireless apps can be projected if they're compatible. The last few buttons down the left hand side is your software updates, your Ford Assistant. So Ford Assistant can listen to wake up words if you want. There's also command help. So there's certain things that the vehicle assistant can actually do for you. So accessing mobile apps, climate, media, navigation, phone and radio. And there's details in there as well as to which apps it can actually access, what it can actually do for the climate controller, and it even gives you triggers of what you can say, things like setting temperatures, lows and highs, and it gives you examples of what kind of commands you can give the assistant. You can also activate advanced mode for the assistants, provides fewer prompts and examples so that you can say your command sooner. Call confirmation can be set up, confirms the contact number before it actually makes a call. That's if it's active. And voice command lists. Displays a list of possible voice commands when you press the voice control button. So once you get to know the system, you can probably deactivate these so that it's quicker and easier to use. Lastly, you get Valet Mode. In Valet Mode, it will limit the functionality and access to personal information. You would set a PIN before entering Valet Mode. You would remember your PIN, activate it, and then to deactivate or pull the car out of Valet Mode, you'd have to use that same PIN again. The final button on the menu is this top one over here, which then brings you up a more traditional set of menus, the radio, the phone, the navigation. So this is sort of like your master home screen, which allows you to access all the other different sections of the navigation system. Once you go into radio, you can select different radio stations. And they're all listed just there. Phone, once a phone's connected, it will bring up this phone menu. Navigation brings up the car's satellite navigation. Media is if you've got any other phone media connected or paired through a phone. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are both supported and are both wireless. You also get your different charging menus over here, which tells you the charge of the battery at the moment, your EV driving history, your departure and comfort. You can actually set this and you can tell it, if you go into the edit screen here, you can tell it, it's got the whole every day of the week there, and you can tell it at what times you're planning to depart on any given day. And then once you do that, you can set a time, and then you can tell it what to do 10 or 15 minutes prior to that time, if you wanted to cool the car or warm up the car or just keep it medium or whatever you wanted to do. So you can actually set all of that up if you know what your schedule is for the whole week. You can set all of that up, and it will then switch the car on and off and keep it cool or warm for you depending on what you've selected. Your locations can also be set up just there using the location indicator. Your tire pressures can be accessed through this menu over there, and they will be displayed in whatever unit you chose in that earlier screen that we looked at. You can also set up trips or plan trips and get details of what you did in the last trip that you were on, as well as what's actually using electricity, from accessories to driving to climate controls to. In this trip section, you've also got your trip 1 and trip 2 that you can set and reset, which in a traditional car that would have been on your dash, but here it's all digital. You've also got this incredibly handy owner's manual. The owner's manual is very in-depth, and I'm probably not going to cover it off in complete detail on this video. There's just too much to cover off on. But basically, the old traditional owner's manual, which would have been a little book, is no longer provided, and the entire owner's manual is moved into a digital format and can be accessed via the screen. You can access it in several different ways. You can do visual searches, you can have bookmarks, you can change the language of the owner's manual. You can also try and look up different categories, but you can also use the search functionality where you can type in something and it will search the owner's manual for whatever it is you're looking for. And lastly, you have your sketchpad button, which allows you to sketch things on the go and then save them and make notes and add colors and do all sorts of stuff. Lastly, at the bottom here, you have your aircon or climate control functions, as well as this multi switch. I call it a multi switch because it can control multiple different things. For example, if you're setting temperature, it then becomes a temperature controller, and you can roll through that. If you're doing your heated seats, it can roll through your heated seat controls. If you're doing your aircon, on default, it defaults to volume control and becomes a volume controller. Over here you have your heated seat controller, which you can switch on and off. You've also got a heated steering wheel on the GT. You've got your fan speed, which again, this becomes a fan speed controller. And then finally, you've also got your aircon controls. With this aircon control menu here, allows you to control where your air is blowing. So that's for the front window, passenger or feet, or all three if you want them. And you can also set it to heat or no heat. This is to set your front demister on and off. This is your max aircon button, your air recirculation button, And you can also put it into dual climate control so that you've got driver and passenger split. And that's a wrap on the full digital display screen. I hope you found that useful. If there's anything else you want us to cover off on, leave that in the description below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.